on this episode of the Getting Rooted podcast.
23 days after I became a mom, I became a single mom. At the same time, I was dealing with postpartum depression and anxiety, helping care for my dad, who has Parkinson's. And then I moved to Panama. New country, new environment, trying to function in the middle of all of that. So, if the podcast went quiet for a while, that's why. What I realized in that season is this: life doesn't always fall apart in obvious ways. Sometimes it just shifts and you're left figuring out how to rebuild while still in it. That's the hardest part.
Let's get rooted with Getting Rooted podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the Getting Rooted podcast, where we focus on real life, real growth, and getting you back to yourself. I'm your host, Janine Hansel-Frimpong, therapist and mental wellness coach. Today, I want to talk about where I've been and what that season actually required of me. Not just what happened, but what it took to get through it. If you've been here before, you probably noticed it's been a minute. The last episode was June 2024, and I didn't disappear. I stepped away. Not because I stopped caring about this space. I stepped away because life needed my full attention. There are seasons where you can push through, and there are seasons where pushing through costs you more than it gives you. And I knew I couldn't show up here halfway, so I did. I think we don't talk about this enough. Sometimes the most aligned thing you can do is pause. And now that I'm in a different place, I want to bring you into what that season actually looked like. A lot changed at once, not gradually, not gently, just all at once. I became a single mom very quickly after becoming a mom. So I was still learning my son. And at the same time, I was navigating a custody case, a divorce, and everything that comes with that. Yeah, a lot. And while figuring out how to do it on my own, at the same time, I was dealing with postpartum depression and anxiety. And if you've been there, you already know that's not light. So emotionally, I was trying to stay afloat while still showing up every day as a mother. And on top of that, I was helping care for my dad. So I'm learning how to be a mother and stepping deeper into being a caregiver. Crazy times. And those two roles pulls from you in completely different ways. And neither one pauses just because you need a moment. And then I had the crazy idea to move to Panama. New country, new systems, new everything. And I'm trying to learn Spanish well enough to just function day to day while still showing up for my son and my dad. Trying to create some kind of stability while everything in my life was shifting. What made that season heavy wasn't just what was happening, it was how much was happening at the same time. It wasn't one thing, it was everything all at once. And there was no space really to process one thing before the next thing came. It was just adjust, adapt, keep going. Adjust, adapt, keep going. And I know I'm not the only one who's had a season like that, where everything just stacks up and you still are expected to function like it's normal. And that's the part people don't see, right? And honestly, that part isn't unique to me. A lot of women are carrying more than people realize. We're handling responsibilities, showing up for everyone, keeping things moving. And from the outside, it looks like we're fine, but functioning isn't the same as being okay. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Functioning isn't the same as being okay. And that's where strong women get misunderstood. When you look like you got it all together, looks are deceiving. Ask me, do I have it all together, right? And so you still showing up. So people assume you don't need support. Assuming you know what they say about that, right? So you're handling things so nobody asks what's it costing you. And over time, you just get used to carrying it. But just because you can carry a lot doesn't mean you should. That was something I had to really sit with for a long time. My version of strength was just pushing through, handling it, keeping it moving. But real strength also includes knowing your limits, And I had to learn that really the hard way. Knowing when to pause, when to step back, when something needs to change. And if you're used to being the strong one, that is not an easy feat. Not at all. Because people rely on you. And if we're honest, you rely on you too. But there's a difference between being strong and constantly running yourself into the ground. And so a lot of women cross the line without even realizing it. That's what this season forced me to look at. Me. It look at myself and what I was doing to make this season harder rather than easier. And so what I started to realize is life doesn't follow the timeline we expect. You can have a plan, have a vision, and life will still shift. And sometimes in ways that change everything. And for a while, I resisted that. I did. I tried to hold on to what I thought my life should look like, try to make things fit, even when they didn't. But resistance takes energy. It takes a lot of energy. And when you're already carrying a lot, you don't have extra energy to fight reality. And so at some point, I had to shift from trying to control everything to learning how to move with what was happening and also not losing myself. And I did this by allowing my life to evolve. That's where things changed for me. This season wasn't about starting over. It was about realigning, letting go of what I thought it should look like, and getting honest about what my life actually needed. And realignment isn't comfortable, right? It asks you to adjust, to let things go, to rethink what you thought was set. But it also creates space to build something that actually works. And that's what I've been learning. Not how to start from scratch, but how to rebuild with intention. So, if you're in a season right now where things feel uncertain, where your life doesn't look like you expected, you're not the only one. A lot of people are rebuilding quietly. And if that's where you are, you're not behind. You're adjusting. And that's part of the process. This is a space where we talk about that. Honestly, not pretending. So if you're trying to find your footing or just stay grounded while everything's shifting, you're in the right place. And I'm glad you're here. And if you've been feeling overwhelmed or a little out of alignment, I put something together to help you reset. It's simple, just something to help you slow down, get clear, and feel a little more grounded. And you can find it or grab it in the link below. So I want to close with this. Stay rooted in your truth and take care of your mind. I'll talk to you in the next episode.
Let's get rooted with getting rooted. Podcast. Digging in deep, getting at the truth. Finding your peace at the lantern root. Growing into a brand new you with